All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say shalom. This is the brother Yeshaya coming at you again through spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And in this video, pretty much going to title it "The Devil's Blame Game Tactics." The Devil's Blame Game Tactics, right? And I got this article I want to get from the People's Voice.tv, but it says Netanyahu snatches journalist's iPhone and brags Israel can hack U.S. critics and destroy their reputations. You see, so this whole thing of, them being able to hack phones, listening to your conversations, you know, uh, whatever you have stored on your phone, or whatever you post online, whether it's social media or whatever, they have access to all these things, right? Your camera on your phone, right? Everything can be accessed, via these hackers. You know what I'm saying? And they have the technology. Who's to say that these governments don't hire these people out, right? They can be useful assets, for some covert operations. You know what I'm saying? Get different information to blackmail people, or just pretty much what they're gonna do with the prophets, man, and those that believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is to, get information so that way they can bring blame, upon those that fear the Lord. Pretty much paint a certain narrative that we're this hate group, we're these, extremists, we're this pretty much radical group of people that need to be expunged, that need to be pretty much arrested, persecuted, hunted down, right, for the good of society, right? They're gonna blame us, for being the cause of all the problems of the earth, or blame us, for a lot of things that's getting ready to come down, and that we are, a major problem to the society. That again, that needs to be removed. But we understand that Esau's going to come with these tactics. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do these things, in order for him to try to establish his NWO, and to, try to remove those that fear the Lord, those that that the Most High is using, to pretty much bring in the kingdom of David, or the throne of David, right? But again, anything to try to control the narrative, anything to try to, block the elect from receiving his word, that's what Esau is going to try to do. All right. And this is one major thing, what I'm saying? It's for them to hack our devices, peek into our private lives through these devices, and take in whatever information they can, and, use it, whether it's through deep fakes, whether it's through, actual information, that they can post online as us being, quote unquote crazy people, terrorists, conspiracy theorists, all these things, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna read a little bit more. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna play this video actually. There's no need to read it. I can just play this video.
Netanyahu, in a rather chilling moment, actually reached over and picked up Major Garrett's iPhone in order to make his point, okay, about social media. Now, what's interesting about this exchange I'm going to show it to you. This is the final exchange in the 70-minute sit down. Okay. But this is purportedly Netanyahu trying to tell us what's being done to Israel by propagandists out there. And I would submit to the jury that it is very much true of what Israel is doing to its critics now, too. Watch.
Again, you can say anything because it's this. This is yours, right?
Speaking of
You're not immune either because you can penetrate this machine. You can penetrate this little instrument, and you can say about Major Garrett anything you want, and I can paint you as a monster. And if I say it often enough people will believe it. I am not bemoaning.
See, and that's Project Mockingbird. You say something long enough, it'll become the truth, right? And that's why they what they do to a lot of people. A lot of these, whistleblowers, a lot of these, people that are coming out with information. Either they kill them, or first, they'll try to paint them as being, kooks, being crazy, being these, sea theorists, these whack jobs, right? And then, if they're getting a lot of traction, what they do is they just flat out kill them, or they just flat out kill them as they're doing nowadays. They're just going forth out, or out they're just outright going out there, and eliminating these people, right? But let me go ahead and finish this out. Let me rewind it back.
Now, too. Watch.
Again, you can say anything because it's this. This is yours, right?
Speaking of
You're not immune either because you can penetrate this machine. You can penetrate this little instrument, and you can say about Major Garrett anything you want, and I can paint you as a monster. And if I say it often enough people will believe it. I am not bemoaning this. I'm stating this as a fact. Israel is besieged on the media front, on the propaganda front, and we've not done well on the propaganda war. We have to fight back against these lies, this propaganda, with the only weapon we have. It's the truth.
All right. Well, you see the point there, right? It's how they're going to use this, or they have the ability to hack into your phones and get information that they need, and then they can use it against you, right? Paint a certain narrative about you, spread it throughout their news platforms, different articles. They can just push this, constantly, and that's the reason why what they do to those what they call Black Hebrew Israelites, right? They're constantly always pushing it through the narratives, Black Hebrew Israelites, even though we're constantly saying we're not black. You know what I'm saying? They know there's no such thing as a black race of people, right? But they constantly keep doing that. Why? To paint that narrative, to give us that, put that stain on it, right? That black, you know what I'm saying? Which black just means void of light. See, so they know what they're doing by saying that, and they're constantly pumping that. They're constantly pushing that. They constantly paint us as being radicals, being a hate group, being this, being that, right? But again, this is all, a part of the Most High's plan, right? Because that persecution has to come to weed out, the those who don't truly believe in the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? That time of persecution, that time of testing, we're on the brink of that. And as the apostles always say, it's always sifting season, and the Most High is about to sift, the elect, well, not sift the elect, what I'm saying, but what I mean is the Most High is about to sift the undesirables, right? To where only the elect are going to remain, right? So let's see, let's get a precept real quick. Let's get Isaiah. As a matter of fact, now let's get Amos. Let's get this real quick. Amos 5 and 10. It says, "They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly." You see, because what we're saying is not, it goes against, the status quo. It goes against what they are envisioning the future to be. They don't want Yahweh to rule. They don't want righteousness on the earth. They're contrary to righteousness, right? They want to continue to remain in power, and they understand that if Yahweh returns, that they won't be in power, right? So that's why it says they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. Because what are we doing? We're rebuking them. We're telling them that they're unfit rulers, that the way they're ruling is not wise. They're the wicked that the Bible speaks of. That Yahweh is coming to destroy their kingdom, right? It says, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly, right? They despise us, man. They hate us. And all we're doing is coming straight from the scriptures, what the will of the Lord is. You see? So this is why they're going to have to come up with different scenarios, different deceptions, different ways pretty much to bring defamation upon us, right? Because Esau is at the end of his rope. Walls are closing in on him. He's going to have to do something, to try to seem like he has everything under control, right? Now let me see. That's why the scripture says, his pride has deceived him. He really feels that he can accomplish this. He's going to be successful in coming against us, right? Because for so long he has been able to, just get on Jake and to do whatever he wants with us and experiment on us, have us in slavery. You know what I'm saying? Which it's still in slavery even now. Just that, it's with extra steps. It gives you this illusion that you're free, but you're not, right? But again, punishment is coming on him. So he's going to have to, he's going to come with his different tactics, his lies, his deception, his blame game to you know what I'm saying, I guess you could say, have some control in these last days. But we understand all that's going to fall apart. Now, real quick, let's get Sirach or Isaiah. So like, let's get that Isaiah actually. Isaiah 29, verse 21. Because you heard what he said. He said that you can say whatever you want, and pretty much they can use that, speak negatively about you, and they can say it so many times that, saying it'll pretty much be accepted by multiple people and pretty much become true, right? But this is Isaiah 29 and 21, that maketh a man an offender for a word, right? So you can say some stuff, and they can deem it to be anti-Shem, hateful, right? Because you already know what's going on with these hate speech laws. They're becoming more and more. They're cracking down on people, for hate speech, right? So they can deem all this stuff that we're saying hate speech. They can record us and then broadcast it and be like, "Oh, look at these people. This is what this religious group is into. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop this. They have no room for this world that we're trying to establish." They're gonna say, "Oh, it's peace. It's for peace, for safety, for harmony," and paint us as the antagonist, paint us as the bad guys, right? But it says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, right? It says, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. You see? So as it says, they're laying that snare. They're just setting the traps, right? But we're not scared because we understand that the Most High is going to fight for us at the end of the day, right? This shouldn't put fear in your hearts, knowing that all this is going to come down, right? Because we understand that the Most High is about to raise the standard up. When, like the scripture says, whenever he comes in like a flood, then shall the Lord raise up a standard against him. Roughly paraphrasing, right? So that standard is going to be lifted up via the angels, coming down, intervening via spiritual power. Brothers are going to be granted spiritual power in these last days, to fight back or, just to hide themselves, dude, hey, there's going to be miracles happening, right? So we ain't scared of none of that. The Most High is going to provide. The Most High is going to take care of us, right? Because what we're doing, is a righteous work. The Most High is not going to turn his back onto us, right when we desperately need him. He ain't going to leave us to hang, right? The scripture says, as a matter of fact, let's get it. Can't remember exactly how it goes. Put their trust. So, bear with me. Hold on. I think it might be Sirach 10. No, never mind. How's it go? Bear with me. Can't find it for some reason. Generations of old. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Salakia. This is a Sirach 2 and verse 10. It says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? You see? So all you gotta do is just read the scriptures, man. Read the scriptures. All those that were righteous and did the will of the Lord, that feared Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, put their faith and trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, how they were rewarded, how they were saved, how they were delivered out of certain evils, right? All that is about to happen in these days. Even though we're going to be faced through, this type of adversity that might seem, which best believe this is going to test a lot of people's faith. And again, it's going to seem like it's like some impossible shit to get out of, but hey, the Lord will intervene, right? Let's get this real quick. Sirach 26 and verse 5. It says, there be three things in my heart. Also like this, it says, there be three things that my heart feareth, and for the fourth I was so afraid, the slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation. All these are worse than death. So that's what Esau's going to come with, man. That false accusation, right? The slander, all that's coming, man. Right? The gathering together of an unruly multitude, right? Because they're gonna come out, they're gonna come at us like packs of wolves, man. And some of us will, be taken up and be made martyrs, man. But even like the scripture says, be faithful unto death, right? And we're gonna receive that crown of life. Let's get another one. But all these things, them calling us radicals, extremists, um, we gotta understand we're living in a wicked world. So in this wicked world, yeah, righteousness is viewed as being extreme, because we're going contrary to the ways of the world. These people out here, they're so caught up in the world, they view righteousness as bad, as evil, right? As a matter of fact, let's get that too. Isaiah 5:20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. You see? So woe unto them, destruction unto them, because they live their lives, in the complete opposite of what the Lord, intended for the world to operate. Right? There are rules, there are laws, that need to be followed in order to live, a life, a righteous life that's in balance with the earth. But, with Esau at the helm, everything is upside down. Everything is turned upside down. Right? Wickedness is in. But we're seeing that shift right now where wickedness is being pushed out the way, and righteousness, room is being made for righteousness. You see? Now let's get this, because like I said, Esau is getting his plans ready. This is Psalms 11 and verse 1. It says, in the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai put I my trust. How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow, and they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may shoot privily, also like that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. You see? Because they're going to come at us, they're going to come at the righteous. That's the main target. As soon as you separate yourself from this world and turn to righteousness, you're already a target. Satan already sees you, and he views you as a target. And Esau, being the physical counterpart of Satan, is going to use his means to, come at you as well. Everything is going to be made more plain to you. You're going to be able to see it, right? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. So we see him getting his bow ready, him fashioning his arrows, getting ready to shoot at us. He's going to come at us in multiple angles, right? As I mentioned earlier, he's going to come in like a flood. He's going to come in with his propaganda. He's going to come in with his accusations. He's going to come in, with his troops. He's going to come in, with his various lies, man. He's going to really, pull all the tricks out of his bag just to come at us. And all we're doing is preaching the truth to show you how powerful this truth is, man. Right? Now let's see. Let's get Revelation 12 and 10. This is who this man is, right? This man's the devil that the Bible speaks of, which devil just means deceiver, or false accuser. So like I went way down. This is Revelation 12 and 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying, in heaven now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which is Esau, right? The accuser, which, he's really the false accuser, because the accusation that he's coming with, he's painting us as being the bad guys. He's painting us as we're the hateful ones. Whenever he's the one that's polluting the earth, destroying people's lives, destroying the land, destroying the air, everything, all for the sake of, destroying us as a race, destroying us as a people. You see? And here it is. He's in power. But it says, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Because, he has, his own witches, putting up prayers, to the Lord to pretty much keep us cursed, and keep us, downtrodden, and, all these different things, that he throws up. But also the accusation that he's going to be accusing of us throughout the whole world here soon. You see? Now let's get let's get 2 Timothy, right? Because we're going to face persecution. This is something that's coming real soon. That's going to be alongside with Jacob's trouble. That's going to be alongside with, our temptation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, our temptation, we understand that's going to be the mark, the mark of the, of the beast, right? I'll just say it. But it's also going to be, a way for you to deny the Lord. You're gonna have to deny the Lord. You're gonna have to, deny your faith and take this MOTB. Simulate yourself with the system. You see, but anyway, this is 2 Timothy 3 and verse 12. It says, yea, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahushua shall suffer persecution. Right? So again, we are not greater than the master, right? Or greater than the Lord, or the servant's not greater than the Lord, or greater than his master, right? So Yahushua suffered persecution. He suffered, these false accusations, the slander, right? How much more us? Verse 13, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, being deceived and being deceived, or deceiving and being deceived, right? Meaning these people out here in the world, they're going to continue on with their lies, continue on with their bullshit, get worse and worse, be deceived, by these false prophets, bro. Mainly, by Esau. Because Esau's coming with them lying wonders. He's coming with the deep fakes. He's coming with the propaganda, the accusations. And all these wicked ass people are going to believe it. You see? But that's going to be all to their destruction. Now, I want to get this last one, right? In 2nd Esdras. We always bring this out. 2nd Esdras 16 and 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. See, so they're going to come upon those that fear the Lord, and particularly them, right? They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So they're physically going to come at us. You see? It's going to be from a verbal accusation, to posting our, what we believe in on TV and painting us as being crazy, radical, terrorists, you know what I'm saying? Then it's gonna lead to these people out here to taking action, going out physically, whether it's, coming out to the campsites or, coming to our homes, you know what I'm saying? This man's gonna come with it. And these people, they're out here, they're gonna come with it because they're already, you see what their mindset is at right now. People are getting, anxious because they're losing the little piece that they had. These elites are taking everything away from them, and they just want something to hold on to. Well, they're gonna give them this. They're gonna give them us to as that source to unleash their anger on. Right? But it says verse 72, it says, "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." And it says, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire." You see? And that time is going to be known who are the real ones, who are the ones that stand 10 toes down for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You see? All this is going to be a great major test to, again, weed out the undesirables, those who don't truly believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Because then, again, only the real ones are going to remain. Right? But at the end of the day, Esau, with his blame game, is going to be a major thing that's going to take place. And he has the ability, again, to either, with the deep fakes, with the new AI shit. And my brother's been seeing the AI, the advancements on it, how crazy and real it's getting. He can come with the deep fakes, he can come with the audio. He can come, he can do that. You know what I'm saying? But the way the world is set up, man, how these people out here in the world are, majority of our people, are not going to be able to receive this truth. So they already hate us just for the simple fact that we're contrary to how they view the world, what they believe. You see? So much so that you're going to have your loved ones, giving you up, right? Turning you in. Family members, friends, wife, kids, sons, parents, brothers, sisters, you know what I'm saying? But we understand the elect are going to remain. Right? So, I just want to do this video real quick, man, because I seen that and I was just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We've been knowing, you know what I'm saying, how Esau had the technology to be able to do all that. What's it called? Snowden. I remember watching that, his interview or whatever it was, documentary, and pretty much they tell you there how they're able to snoop in on people's private lives and conversation through these telephones, right, or cell phones, right? So all this ain't, far-fetched, man. You know what I'm saying? Then now the Jew coming out and saying it, it just further validates, how pretty much just how easy, that they can really do things. But they're abiding their time with the man of the Lord because they know this is like Pandora's box. Once you open it, you can't close it. So once they come down with that wrath, once they come down with that persecution, they understand they're opening up something that once they do it, there's no turning back. Right? And they heard the stories, they seen the angels. They know what powers that they're messing with. But the Most High is pinning them to that corner where they're just gonna go ahead and lash out, right? But anyway, I praise the lesson was edifying. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rachah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm going to say Shalom, Kwame Shalom.